What the hell is going on, people? This is Periodic, and today we are doing live reaction for the latest One Piece, late as hell, might I add, One Piece 840. I'm actually a day late. It came out as soon as I was going into work, and by the time I got out of work, I was freaking tired. Didn't have much energy to do a live reaction, so today I'm going to be taking care of it. I've stayed away from reading anything about it, so I have no idea what happens in this particular chapter. There was a few spoilers on Reddit. I stayed clear away from them, so I have no idea what's happening in this particular chapter. I'm going into it blind. If you remember, in 839, Zeph gets threatened by Judge, and Judge pretty much says, hey, if you try to mess around with us, if you try to screw around with this marriage, you getting marriage to Pudding, we already know where Zeph is. We're gonna wipe him out if you do anything to mess around. So he's pretty pissed. Also, the chef that does their meal for them during their dinner or whatever it was for Sanji's family, Sanji's brother does not like the food, and when Sanji leaves, he ends up beating her up, and he's pretty pissed. And his brother ends up taking him to, for whatever reason, the clone factory. So let's figure out what the hell is happening, because we see that one of the reasons why Germa 66 is so powerful is because they're creating this vast clone army, and that's why they have one of the biggest militaries in the world. It's also very interesting at the similarities between Germa 66 and obviously the Germans, Nazis. 66 is supposed to be like SS. So let's see what ends up happening here. Next page, or first page, I should say, of Iron Mask is what it's called, and that could be a reference to the Man in the Iron Mask. Let's find out. So front page, Kuma actually with a bunch of people. Well, this is just like a fan art kind of thing, because they're all licking bees and whatnot, so all a bunch of characters. Chopper eats from pots of honey with Beppo, Kumashi, the hiking bear, and Bartholomew Kuma, just like Pooh the bear would. That's funny. So at first I was like, what? That actually happened? But no, that never happened. Okay. Color art. Let's full screen this bad boy, shall we? More color art, which is like, who cares? Alright, so it's like, you want to know what this is? Yanji's like, you want to know what this is? Well, these are the soldiers of Germa 66. It's like, shocking view. He's like, why are they immersed in water? That's just culture fluid. They all have identical faces. Are these guys even alive? Listen closely, Sanji. Humans can be manufactured. Huh? Germa has always been renowned as the kingdom of science. Throughout the years, though it may sound far-fetched now, even our father was once hailed as a brilliant scientist back in the day, before we were even born. He was a member of a foreign, lawless research team, and used to work right alongside Vegapunk on research and development of high-tech weaponry. Him and Vegapunk together? Oh, so are Sanji and the rest of them just clones? That would be crazy. Back when we were but a glint in his eye, yes. And so the groundbreaking feat that he and Vegapunk managed to pull off was the discovery of a living organism's lineage factor. With but a few minor mutations, they now had the power to do what once was thought only attributable to God himself. In layman's terms, they had basically discovered the blueprints to life itself. So, that would mean that the reason why the marriage is going on is possibly because Big Mom wants to have that. She wants to have that secret, and maybe interesting, because she really wants what's his face to do it, Caesar Clown, to be able to get it done. But is this her backup plan? Getting Germa 66 to teach her how to do this. Once the world government caught wind of it, they concluded that it was a power too great for man to have access to, and immediately arrested Vegapunk. So that's what happened to Vegapunk. The rest of the research team were forced to go their separate ways shortly thereafter, all because some suits thought they were doing what was best for mankind. Well, it's not really suits. Luckily, our father managed to escape the witch hunt and continued his research and studies on Germa. On his own, he began experimenting with cloning, with gene mutation, and thus with the origins of life itself. And what you see before you is the fruit of all that labor. All these men were born right here in this basement. These men are clones of a select few, highly capable soldiers specifically chosen for this project. They were also known as the Clone Pawns. And thus the Clone Wars begin. But of course, none of the soldiers themselves are actually aware of this fact. Countless nations shake and tremble at the thought of our military might. But as great as their fear is, their envy of us is just as great, if not greater. You can't blame them, really. Strong, fearless, and loyal soldiers, all programmed to stare death in the eye without flinching while being eternally faithful to us. No questions asked. So, slaves, if their lives are lost, we simply have a replacement waiting to take its place. It takes a mere 5 years to produce one 20-year-old clone. You could go as far as to call this place a soldier depot. 5 years. That's all it takes for these guys to all grow into mature, grown individuals. That act like they've had life experiences for over 2 They act like they've had life experiences for over two decades. Enough! I don't need to hear anymore. Yanji looks at him. You're making me nauseous. Sanji sits down, smokes a cigarette, blows out. When the family caught wind that you've recently been running around as a pirate, the brothers, that's the brothers talking. When the family caught wind that you've recently been running around as a pirate, Ichiji, Niji, we all thought, well, hey, maybe this is a good thing. It'll help that little runt grown mature a little bit. But that was apparently wishful thinking. Look at you, as pathetic as ever. Niji, you, What the hell? He's like, what? Did you do the Cossack? Boom, bam, kicks the shit out of him. Ichiji's just looking on Yanji's like, ah! Sanji kicked the shit out of his face. Boom, sends him flying. You've committed a grave sin, and I'm gonna drill that lesson into that head of yours. He's like, ah! Cracks his jaw back into place. Ichiji's like, I'd tread lightly if I were you, Sanji. Do not forget that we've got quick and easy access to your East Blue Achilles heel. Oh, stealth. Niji is gone. Oh no, that is Niji, and he's right behind him. He's like, well, this is unexpected. I didn't even know that you swung that way. You and that pathetic excuse for a chef would make a Q and then make a panda as a couple, I guess. Just try and fight back. I dare you. All the blood spilled over at the East Blue will be on your hands. Henry Needle! The kanji reads electric motive. Alright, so what do they put? Anyway, he knees Sanji right in the back. Electricity. Punches him with an electric fist. Boom! Sanji goes flying on the floor. Sanji. If I knew she meant that much to you, I would have beat the peasant back and blew everywhere but her face. If you don't mind the company of a cripple, I'm sure we can arrange it so that she's a member of your personal staff. Good one. God, these guys suck. I speak for all of us when I say, welcome home, Sanji. Welcome back to your Vinsmoke family. I'll be more than happy to remind you of the hierarchy in this house anytime you want. Dude, if you did not have the location of Zeph, he would have beat the crap out of all three of you. You are the dud, the mishap, the failure, Sanji. And this is a flashback. There it goes. Listen carefully, you all, are my greatest creations of all time. Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking they're all clones. The result of the most advanced, progressive scientific breakthroughs in genetic engineering that the world has ever known. Your skills and abilities will not be bound by human limitations or boundaries. When the time comes, nothing in this world will deter you from your ultimate goal. Each of you will stand at the head of and lead an army, consisting of only Germa 66, which shall continue to grow and evolve thanks to the power of science. The blood that courses through your veins has been blessed with limitless potential. For that potential to be realized, all that's left for you to do is train. So, Sanji's going to be very, very powerful. Yes, father! Is all what the kids say. And then there's a little thing of everyone like jumping down and falling on the ground or something like that, running. Sanji is the slowest. All these kind of tests, and Sanji sucks at them. Sanji almost drowned. Does he have a devil fruit that we don't know about? No, he's been in the water before. Pumping him full of water. The kid's being mean to him, obviously fighting him. Yeah, they're pretty strong. The kids when they were younger, it's just shown they're ruthless. Sanji is clearly inferior to the rest. His scores continue to fall further and further behind. The results have come in. Lord Ichiji and Lord Niji and Lord Yanji are all right on track. Their outer skeletons have already started to form. Their bodies have matured into the level of adult men, both in terms of strength and agility. Their outer skeletons. Interesting, so they have two skeletons. However, it appears that Lord Sanji is, well, as much as it pains me to say these words, there's no other way to describe his data other than to call him a total failure. The judge is like, ugh. On paper, all 4 of their genes were in fact successfully modified, but for some inexplicable reason, he is the only one whose attributes and measurables have remained almost constant from the moment of his birth. What are you getting at? Lord Sanji is simply a normal, regular human being. Feel free to dig in. I made that just for you. Sanji's feeding a rat. Tastes good, doesn't it? Sanji, you better not be feeding that damn rat again. World will never serve others. How many times must I tell you this? But your mother has long passed. There's no merit and nothing to be gained from following the legacy of the dead. For whatever reason, you are not gifted with the aptitude and talents of your siblings. So it seems like they did have a mother. Whether they actually had sex or whether he just took the cells from her, we don't know. But we know that she was generous. As such, it is your duty to work hundreds, no thousands of times harder than the others. You will be part of and contribute to the plans I've set for the future of Germa. Being a disappointment and lagging behind is not an option. And he throws the plate against the wall. Psh! Don't you dare ever prepare another meal again. And he starts crying. Still getting beat up. The sister's like, look, I have no choice but to laugh along with them. If I don't, I'll just be bullied too. I really don't want to. She's like, fixing up Sanji. No improvements. He has 0 potential. He's an utter waste of space and air. To think we'd lose him in an accident. This is beyond a tragedy. He was going to be one of the 5 pillars that were to lead the Germa into the future, and yet here I stand, at the wake of a son for whom I've had high such hopes for. So they try to kill him? Oh, the Iron Mask. Huh? When would this thing come off, guys? What's the big idea? Did he seriously go and die on us? This is me caring. Besides, he was completely useless anyway. Hold on a sec. I don't want to stay here. Let me out. So, wow, they put him in an iron mask, like the man in the iron mask, and they locked him away and pretended that he died. Obviously, if you guys don't know what this is in reference to, I'm pretty sure it's a true story. I'm almost positive there's a lot of movies based off of it. But there was 2 twin brothers back in, I believe it was France, during like the 14th century or something like that, 15th century. 2 twin brothers, and pretty much... if I remember correctly, one of them was taken away because the mother did not want a succession war. Since they're twin brothers, both of them have a stake to the throne, and eventually when they come of age, they're going to try to kill each other to decide who will be the actual successor to the throne. So the mother didn't want that and had one banished away, put an iron mask on the face so you could never see who it was, and banished into a dungeon. And so that's where it's based off of. Leonardo DiCaprio was in a famous movie, Man in the Iron Mask. Don't leave me here. It's scary. I'm going to die. Please speak with my father. Help. They're trying to kill me. We are all working under direct orders of the king himself. He wished to wipe the slate clean and start over in a world where you were never born to begin with. Why? Let me out, please, Father. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for being born a weakling. Help, Father. Save me, Father. A tragic, heartbreaking fate. So, yeah, that's straight up dirt. There is no redemption for the Vinsmokes. I hope they all get wiped out by the Luffy Alliance, by the Straw Hat Alliance, because, man, they've just effed up beyond belief. So, yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. That put me on a real sour note the end of that chapter, because it's like, damn, they're doing that kid so dirty, and I hope Sanji gets revenge on all of them. And it's gonna suck if like he kills them, because obviously he's not a killer, and you shouldn't be killing your own family. But I hope he does get some sweet revenge by beating the ever living piss out of them. So hoping that's what happens. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. As always, this is Periodic saying peace.